It is so nice to be here. I am so excited. Seriously, it's so awesome. Thank you guys for taking time to come today.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It is great to be here, back on another episode of All the Miles Mattered. The voice greeting you just then was that of Largo's Chris Palmer. He's a key member of 3 state championship teams for the Packers, instrumental in putting together some of the events in mid-September. Chris will be the star of this episode, which features his opening at the September 15th reunion. That reunion was one night after the track at Largo was named for Coach Brent Haley. This is the second episode of Season 2 of the show, and it launches on October 23rd, which just so happens to be Coach Haley's birthday. Happy birthday, Coach. And now, back to Chris Palmer.
It's amazing how things happen. I think 10 years ago when we did this, I remember having discussions with Coach. We'll never have another one like that. It'll never be another thing, and that's not true. Because you guys decided this still matters to you, and you came from all over the country, and you spent your money and your time, and it's beautiful. Some of you guys brought family members. Some of you guys brought friends. It's just beautiful. I want to tell you there's a thing that happened with me in our last reunion, and it's not totally uncommon, where you go to a reunion and you just don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look fat. You don't want to look out of shape. You want to look like maybe you could still run, right? I remember in the 2-mile last time, I'm running for a little while. I'm feeling pretty good because, man, I can pull off a half mile like nobody, no problem. And as we start to take a curve, Carl Moeller comes up behind me. And I'm like, oh, Carl, hey, looking good, man. And he's like, hey, gotta go. And he just took off. My younger brother is 6 years younger than me. Won the thing, and he just ran great. It was amazing. He still looks like a Calvin Klein model. He's only 6 years younger than me. But to me, there was this feeling that I sort of just wanted to look acceptable and look all right. And I think that's weird, but it's also true. There's this insecurity people sometimes have, and I had that. But that's not what this is. This isn't about wanting to fit in this time. It's not wanting to look okay with the guys who I looked up to and the guys who were heroes on record boards. It's just about enjoying it one last time. This is our last mile, and we know it. And I'll try to keep my stuff together here, but sometimes I'm going to lose it, and I apologize. But I want you to know I think it's so incredibly beautiful that anybody ever has anything that fills their heart, anybody ever has anything that they care about, anybody ever has anything that they love so much that it impacts the rest of their lives. And you got a coach who will tell you every time, shucks, it wasn't me, it was them, Magically, they all figured out how to win these state championships, I was just some fat guy handing out Gatorade, But the guy loved us, and I think we're all super aware of what the world has, right? It's really hard being a human. It's hard to survive. It's hard to figure out where you fit in, and it's easy to become really bitter. And when you see light instead of darkness, man, you are drawn to that stuff. And when you see it every year and it never changes, you have something special. And that's what we all had. I'm just so grateful. I got a smaller group of guys around my time period. We went to dinner a while back just because I missed them and said, hey, are you guys in town? And we hung out. And it was so funny because it wasn't that long ago. And Scott Whitmore was like, we should have a reunion. And then magically, pretty soon the track's going to be named after a coach. Hey, that's great. Thanks for the memo. It's like, oh my gosh, like just boom, this thing happens. And you're like, okay, let's do this thing real quick. And this is thrown together in less than 20-something days? I mean, look around. This is really cool, and it's a testament to what this thing was and what it is and what it's done to make our lives so meaningful. So I hope you can feel what I intend, because I can feel what you intend. I see it in the words you don't speak. I see it in the pictures that you post without comments. And sometimes those are the most beautiful things of all. But these are some of the words that I think, and that's that I can't believe this is actually happening. This room, this night, last night, our last mile together. It's amazing that it can even happen. Just take a look at the news. Isn't it full of everything that's the opposite of what's happened the last 24 hours? There's so much hate, incredible divisiveness. It's like the worst kind of teams you could ever imagine. And all they seem to care about is winning. But not in the moments we got to share last night, or the moments that are about to unfold right now. Because last night, in a world where the new comes in and somehow often completely forgets about those who came before, in a world where the old trophies and plaques and awards are often just thrown away like they were nothing, like they never happened, somehow last night still actually happened. Last night, Coach Brent Haley was memorialized before he ever left us in a ceremony and a gesture that's completely surprising, but entirely deserved, and about frickin' time. So Coach Haley had the Largo High Track named after him. It's an honor that's typically reserved for those who have passed, but not this time. It's like God or the universe is allowing us a eulogy before it's time. And who gets to hear what people thought of them before it's all over? So it's only fitting that we come together to pay homage to a man, to pay homage to his family, all of our teammates, and a program that meant so much to all of us. That track is a symbol of so much, and it's a symbol of so much that was sacrificed and shared. It was a track where all of us ran counterclockwise ovals for what has to be thousands of miles. And sometimes we ran till we collapsed. It's a track where sprinters raced until sometimes their hamstrings seized up so badly that they fell and skidded along that incredibly unforgiving, hard-paved asphalt, literally tearing themselves up trying to win. It's a track where the hurdlers, risking that one bad clip of the tip of their toes and their spikes at the top of the hurdle, sometimes sending themselves crashing into a similar fate. It's a track where we had all those Saturday morning workouts in cross country, 16 220s. You run 220 yards at a time, 16 times, and the intervals go from a minute to 45 to 30 to 15 seconds. And if you haven't done that, imagine sprinting and then coming back to the start line to do it again. Collapsing was literal, and yet these were some of the best memories of my life, and I am not alone. Out there with my brothers, it was everything we had, and that incredible, rare, connected, amazing satisfaction when it was all over. Like you could do anything, freaking anything. And that's how it was with Coach. The guy made you feel like you could do more than you ever thought possible. Like he just infused this belief into each one of us. You can do it. We need you. We can win this thing. You're doing great.
You can do it. You can do it, Mike. Think third mile, Mike. Think third mile.
And we actually did great. And sometimes worse. And everywhere in between. It was just part of building that belief. There's no perfect, but there's giving it everything you've got. Sometimes you just gotta suck it up and go. No way we win without everything you have. If we lose with that, with you giving everything you got, I'm fine with that. We can't control how other people run. We can't control garbage cans. You wouldn't talk to a garbage can, would you? But we can sure as heck run our own race, run our smart pace, be tough in the middle, and bring in everything we have. Nobody gives out medals at the mile. And if we do that, it'll be something we can all be proud of. And that's for darn sure. Like the last mile of the bear workout, 4 miles, then 3 miles, then 2 miles, then 1 mile. My God. And farm roads, some of the most intense runs I've ever had, and all of it seemed just so normal back then. Running all of those miles, sometimes 4 people across in the farm road, oblivious to exactly how dangerous the endless gauntlet of trucks and traffic really was. All those tight, curving, shoulderless roads and seemingly nowhere to escape. And then there was Taylor Park. Hot, sticky, mosquitoes, so much joy and so much pain. All those Largo invitationals that felt like they were all that mattered in the world, and getting up early the next morning to get the newspaper off the driveway to see what it said, and that booming voice screaming through the trees, "Way to go, you're doing great. We need everything you got this last mile. You can do it." Coach said it the best in the reunion video 10 years ago, with just the hint of a tear in his eye. I asked him, "What did this all mean to you?" He looked like me, and he said it was something. It was something. And something it was. And now there's a track with his name on it, a fitting exclamation point to volumes of athletic and human development, wrapped in a yellow polyester shirt, a blue windbreaker with goldenrod letters exclaiming years and years of championships, and that hat, slightly upturned, never worn backwards. I hate when people wear hats backwards. Weathered from the years and full of the sweat of greatness in humility's clothing. And then there's tonight. Look around, please. Just look around. This room is full of the ones who ran and full of the ones who love them. It's full of life and love and legacy. And tonight, my hope is that each one of you has a chance to say what this has meant to you, whether it's on a mic that gets passed around, whether it's to your friends, to pay your respects before it's time. So tonight, we'll share a meal together. We'll have a few drinks, share some stories, some laughs, and we'll spend however long you can stay soaking in these moments, and then we'll get kicked out at 10 o'clock. To have had the luck, and I believe the blessings that we had to end up here at a school with this guy who could convince you that you could do anything, I still just can't believe it. You're some of my closest friends in the world. I love you guys. So let's get this going. We've got some great speakers tonight. Coach Bobby Ennis is coming in later. He's watching his daughter. His daughter's coaching a meet tonight. He's coming right after. He's a great coach, an intense competitor, and lifelong friends of Largo cross country and Coach Haley. And he's much funnier than I am. Mark Altamari's here. Mark, raise your hand. Mark, can you stand up a second? Mark's one of the coolest humans I've ever met. Mark has a perma smile. Thank you very much. Thanks. You can sit down front. Mark had a perma smile from the moment I met him. I was a little, fuzzy cheek freshman, as Coach would call me, and Mark was the nicest guy, just welcoming. He's always been this charismatic guy who cares about everybody. He's a great coach. And Coach would say he was tough as nails and one heck of a good guy. Thank you for coming to represent Largo. Bart Sellers is here. Bart, can you stand up real quick? Bart was obviously a Largo phenom. He was a team leader, and he's one of the toughest and most decent, humble human beings I've ever met. He was my idol when I was 13. I just wanted to be him when I grew up. Now I'm just so happy to call him my friend. And Kelly Haley and Brent Jr., can you guys stand up? They're two of the kindest and most decent and unselfish humans I've ever met. They shared their amazing mom with us, Linda Haley. They shared their great dad, Coach Haley. And we all had second moms, dads, brothers, sisters, and family. And Mrs. Haley, our second mom, the forever matriarch and the loving, relentlessly unifying and unselfish force that made all of this possible. And if you think I'm lying, ask your husband or daughter or son or anyone else here. All those poster boards, all that time, all those meals, all those parties, all that love. Never asked for a thing. We love you. In Coach's words, in a very soft tone, one time when we were talking to in the interviews, he said, "Chris, without her, none of this would have ever happened." And of course, we'll have some special words from Coach. and you'll get to hear his actual voice instead of my impression, which really sounds more like a caricature of Red Fox from Sanford and Son. Lamont, you dummy. Because in the end, there's only one. Although Bobby Ennis has been known to have a very authentic, one heck of a good impression of Coach. And then there's you. And I mean all of you. Because like Coach said, none of this happens without you guys. So we'll be passing the mic around through the night for anybody who wants to say something publicly. The main thing is we want all of you guys to have a chance to say what's on your heart while we're still on the right side of the dirt. So thanks for making tonight special. I won't forget it. And one last thing for now. Coach, can you please stand up? And can you look at this room, please? Thank you. I promise you I speak for everyone when I say no way any of this happens without you. It has been my honor, and it has been an honor for all of us. You can give all the credit to us, and I know you will, and you can be humble, which I love. But I hope that tonight, in what feels like our last mile together, you can put the stopwatch down for a minute. And just take it all in.
Again, that was Chris Palmer, Largo class of 1984. Special thanks to his teammate Mike Fowler for the audio from that magical night. You can hear about more magic from the 1980s on the next episode of All the Miles Mattered.